I was the only sado, I think, who sat last night and watched the debate between Rishi Sunak and Liz Truss, the contenders for the Conservative Party leadership. They went head-to-head. Of course, one of them will become the next Prime Minister. Following the debate, Rishi has been... We shouldn't call him Rishi, should I? Rishi Sunak has been criticised for constantly interrupting and mansplaining Liz Truss. So take a wee look.
I would start paying it down in 3 years.
That's simply not right. You promised almost 40...
Excuse me, under my plans, we will...
Well, let's just take on this, right? So
Can you let me respond?
That would be thousands of pounds. Why do you want to cause
Please let me
misery
respond.
Absolutely. Let Liz
You are talking declinist language.
It's your own economic advisor, Liz. It's not mine. It's your own advisor.
We are headed for a recession.
Can we really get an answer to this question?
And your own Bank of England.
Do you accept that?
I absolutely...
This is the problem with your plan. It's going to push people into
please let Liz Truss answer. Please let her answer.
When inflation gets out of control, interest rates go up,
Rishi Sunak, please let Liz Truss answer.
Oh, I mean, Janet, I know you're right into this stuff, so quickly, Colleen and Brenda first, your reaction.
That is so annoying and makes me dislike him a lot.
Did it,
yes,
really? And that's
absolutely.
You just on the basis of those clips?
That, I thought,
yeah, Brenda?
Yeah.
I didn't appreciate it, and I thought it was quite ironic him saying, you know, if I answer the question, let her answer the question, let her speak.
So your gut reaction to that was, that's annoying?
Yes, really
Janet?
annoying.
I just thought, it's a debate. Debates are confrontational. He's passionate about what he believes, and so is she. Of the two, he's a more polished performer. She's got a slightly robotic way of speaking. But if you're asking me to condemn him because he interrupted her, I can't. And actually, the polls this morning...
I don't see it as condemning.
Oh, Brenda, hang on, Brenda's just interrupted me, the queen of interruptions.
Because I disagree. Then if I disagree, then I will. That's the only time I will interrupt. And I think you can have a debate if you just allow everybody to have their piece of say. And I think that that's just manners.
OK, it's manners, but they have both spent the last 2 years going through a pandemic, agreeing things in Cabinet, and now they're patently disagreeing about exactly the same things that they voted through under Boris Johnson. I feel that they're passionate politicians, and unfortunately, that's how our parliamentary business is conducted. We watch Prime Minister's question time every week, well, I do anyway, and it's like a bear pit. And that's how they've learned to debate. It's interesting,
isn't it, that it was a man and a woman, who, the final two are a man and a woman. So he's been accused of mansplaining. I suppose you could say, well, did she just roll over? Should she have argued back better rather than him being guilty of mansplaining?
Yes, but there's nothing worse than when someone's making a point and you're waiting for your turn, than two of you going at it together, because that's like arguing. So no one's listening to each other. No one's respecting each other's opinion and then disagreeing or agreeing or whatever. So for me, it's just lack of respect. It's really rude. In anything, I think you can get your point across. In shows, in programmes like that, they are given a set amount of time each to get their point across. Yeah. And he was just going into that. And I think, in general, I do think that happens a lot with people.
Well, I mean, has anyone ever managed to mansplain you, Janet? How would you have responded in that situation if you'd been Liz Truss?
I don't think I would have responded very well. I would have probably raised my voice, and I probably would have carried on talking over him until he stopped talking. But I do think that's the rules of the game. And in my career, I've had to deal with mansplaining loads and loads of times. And as a result, I probably have turned into a mansplainer myself.
So if you can't beat them, join them.
But no one's listening.
No, I don't agree with that. I think, that goes on in Westminster, and it's something that's been allowed for years, and I think it's disgusting when you see them just talking, shouting over each other.
But in the polls this morning...
Not, sorry, Janet.
Actually, he won.
Excuse me, Janet, I hadn't finished. If they don't stop to listen to their people that are in there with them, how do we know that they're listening to us? They're not going to listen to us if they can't listen to each other. It's ridiculous.
Well, isn't it interesting that this morning I watched highlights of the debate, and I watched how they spoke to each other at the end, and it was almost like a bizarre charade where they pretended to be hating each other, and then by the end they actually smiled and behaved
they
as a
suddenly
completely remembered to go back to being normal human beings.
But I mean, depending on your gender, there is a certain way that you're likely to be perceived. So a lot of people are saying that he was mansplaining, whether you agree or not. I know you don't, Janet. as a woman, if she had responded like the way you might have done instinctively and I might have done instinctively, sort of raise your voice and try and go over him, then you risk being the shouty female, and nobody likes the shouty female.
Or aggressive.
You know, so in her head, she's going to be thinking, right, what do I do here? Do I come back at him, or do I just sort of
But it'd be interesting if it was two women. How would we, if it had been me arguing with you, which we often do on the show, then we get denigrated and attacked by viewers and the media as being hysterical.
Cat fight.
Yeah. So it is interesting.
We debate, we don't argue, Janet.
No.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, there we go. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Let's sit back, change the subject, please.